Press Start Podcast.
And welcome back to the Press Star Podcast. I'm your host, Vic, aka Mr. Never Chillin'. This is episode number 187. And this week will be a solo episode, as Roger was unfortunately unable to make it tonight due to not feeling so well. So you just got me, so hopefully I can keep you entertained and keep you informed. So let's just go ahead and dive into a couple of things that I've been playing over the last week. I actually got busy with beating a couple of games. I did beat Immortals of Avium, and I think I ended up giving the game a 7 out of 10. Ended up being like that good game just because of how the story wrapped itself up. Like I said last week, I really enjoyed like the gunplay, aka magic play, just the combat and the puzzles were a lot of fun. Some of the characters you start to get attached to, and then some things happen and you're just like shit. Well, damn, yeah, it's just like the game could have cooked a little bit longer, and maybe we've got would have gotten a great game, but nonetheless, we did get a good game. So I was trying to figure out what small game I could play after that, since I knew Crimson Desert was coming out right around the corner. So I'd end up downloading and playing Marvel's Cosmic Invasion. This is a very short, quick 3 hour experience, I think. I think I beat it made in maybe two or three sittings. wasn't too bad, and it was just like one of those classic games. I remember playing it like an arcade at like Chuck E. Cheese or something. Just massively beating them up, just kind of steamrolling. Once I figured out that Wolverine was basically unstoppable in the game, I didn't want to like not play with him anymore. So I like maxed him out. Didn't really use anybody else. I would try some people here and there, but just didn't have a reason to, especially with how overly powered Wolverine was. Like Iron Man's my favorite character, and he was not that great. He was my second go-to character, but yeah, Wolverine was just basically untouchable, especially with the health regeneration. Like you could just switch to your other character, let him regen, help bring him back out, and fuck people up. Like I don't know, it was just a little bit too easy. But yeah, overall, it was a pretty cool story, especially with like everybody teaming up against the big bad guy, including like Galacticus is on your team, which was really interesting. And then it went up. But yeah, pretty cool, pretty fun story. I'm glad it was on Game Pass and gave me a chance, because I needed a short game leading up to Crimson Desert, which just released on the 19th. Had a bit of a debacle trying to get the game, so I did pre-order this from GameStop. Went to pick up my copy, and for some reason they decided to sell the only copy of the game that they got for Xbox, which was my copy. So I had to scramble, eventually getting my refund and then picking up a copy from the other location nearby. Thankfully, they had another extra copy because someone did not pick up theirs, so that kind of worked out. But to the game itself, I think I'm about just about a little over 4 hours into the game. It's actually been pretty fun. I'm waiting for that story grip to catch me, because as of right now, I'm like, what am I even trying to accomplish? Like, what is the ultimate goal of this game? And I don't see it just yet. Like I see some puzzle pieces starting to be put together, but then you look at it and it's like, man, these are really, really, really small puzzle pieces to a much larger picture. Um, but yeah, overall, like the combat, super easy, a lot of fun though. You do feel like a badass. I do like the little force powers that you have into it, just akin to my Star Wars liking. But yeah, man, I'm very very curious to see how this game progresses and gets, because this was one of my most anticipated games of the year, and it's not really hitting the mark just yet. I do see what a lot of people are talking about with the whole convoluted like control scheme of the game is very clunky, whether you're on keyboard and mouse or controller. Like having to double tap your A button over and over and over and over if you want to run. That's kind of stupid. Just make it the your left stick click in like every other game. Like I don't know why you have to do it like that. Um just some small hiccups here and there. Like the game as a looker, it is a very beautifully like looking game. Shout out to their in-house engine that they use for it. And yeah, man, I'm just curious to see where the game goes, and as long as they continue to update it as well, that's going to be the key part, is staying on top of it. Quality of life updates, content drops, and whatnot. Keeping people around, that's going to be the key aspect to Crimson Desert. So, with that being said, let's talk about a game that I picked up just because I like the IP, but I knew what I was getting myself into. So I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. Decided to pick up The Walking Dead Destinies. So this is a game where you basically get to choose what happens in certain events that happened in this TV show, whether someone dies or if the good guy dies versus the bad guy dies, like basically who choosing who lives and who dies. Um this game is very clunky. The characters don't really resemble their actual characters in the comic or the show, which is really weird. You get to see a lot of fluff content that you didn't see in the movie, or I mean the show or the comic, so it kind of seems out of place. You're like, well, Rick didn't do that. That's not how that went. So definitely has you like, okay, what the fuck? The game does not look good at all. It looks like a very like that verge between PS2, PS3 graphic timeline. It looks really outdated. The control scheme is clunky. Gameplay is clunky. Like I can see why this game got like a 2 or 3 out of 10 for most people. And yeah, it's not doing any justice at all. But I did buy it just because it was on sale for like $6. And knowing that I'm a huge Walking Dead fan, I was like, fuck it, why not? I can't play always 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 games. Like every once in a while, I gotta get dip in and see what is a bad game, you know. But yeah, man, that's pretty much everything I've been playing outside of like my typical norm of like multiplayer games. So I'm not really gonna dive into those. But we do got some industry news and some gaming news to dive into. So let's go ahead and check that stuff out. All right, man. Kicking it off here with our industry news. We had quite a few of interesting topics here. A lot less this week than we did last week, but nonetheless, some still important and some surprising topics. Kicking off here with Pokemon Go. I mean, the game's been out for just about 10 years, which is insane to even think about. But all this time, apparently, Pokemon Go players have unknowingly helped train delivery robots after generating over 30 billion real world scans through the game. The data is now being used to help autonomous robots navigate city streets. And I won't be surprised if we don't see a class action lawsuit because, like, that was not disclosed in any of our stuff that we were going to give out information like this and be used. If anything, we should be paid for our services for basically scanning the entire like world. Because basically Google Maps it sends a driver around the entire world to map the maps out, and someone gets paid to do that, but we didn't get paid to do it with Pokemon Go. So it's like I'm not a huge fan of this guy, so let's go ahead and let's pay the people for what they did. So we'll definitely see, and if anything comes of this. As of right now, that was just the information that comes out. No one has placed any lawsuits as of yet, but time will only tell. Moving on to Warner Brothers, obviously we know that they've been in the news a lot lately, but they got hit with some more unfortunate news. Reportedly laying off an unspecified number of employees from their Games Montreal studio. And it just sucks, man. Just layoffs in general in the games industry is bad. Bad, bad, bad. And we just see it time after time after time. And it's just getting old after a while. This was the studio like basically behind like the Arkham Origins game. So an Arkham game. So hopefully this doesn't really impact them too much um, and whatnot. So they got to get the games industry got to get it together. But we'll see. Moving on to an interesting one here. So Subnautica, to their bosses are being handed back control of the company after Crafton found guilty of wrongfully usurping control. This one was really interesting, and it said less than a year since Craft and Fine fired the co-founders of Subnautica 2 developer Unknown Worlds. A Delaware court has ordered the three executives to be reinstated. The judge ruled in favor of the oust founders, saying that Crafton was guilty of wrongfully usurping control of the company. And this is coming from rockpapershotgun.com on their article here. But yeah, it says they also say that the authority over Subnautica 2's early access launch and access to Steam need to be restored as well. But Crafton did issue a statement to Bloomberg saying that they respectively disagree with today's ruling and that they are evaluating their options while also claiming that further litigation over damages is still pending. So this could be an ongoing court hearing. So just be on the lookout for more news as we cover that as that goes on. So we kind of talk about the Middle East a lot, especially like Saudi Arabia getting into the games industry. They clearly were not done. They have now invested 10% into Capcom recently. The Saudi Arabia now owns 10% of Capcom after Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's electronic gaming development company EGDC acquired a 5% stake. Um, GameBiz.jp reports that the EGDC's acquisition part of the Crown Prince's Misk Foundation is a pure investment added to Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund existence of already a 5% stake. The acquisition of additional 26.78 million shares raises the country's ownership of the developer and publisher to around 10%. This is coming from IGN's article. The increased ownership comes as Resident Evil Requiem has now sold 6 million copies, making it the fastest selling installment in the horror game since it was kicked off in the Raccoon City about 30 years ago already. Um, so yeah, man, they just been constantly just trying to invest into it and get into the games industry because, as we all know, it is the biggest industry in the world. Gaming is just out of this world. All right, man. So let's talk about something that kind of like rattled the games industry to its core, and that's when Nvidia released a video displaying the NVIDIA DLSS 5. This is an AI powered breakthrough in visual fidelity that'll be coming to games this fall. And a lot of people are basically saying that like this looks like the AI slop. Like it really doesn't look good at all. I'm gonna try and get the video here up on screen. I'm just trying to get it up. Don't want to put me up there twice. That wouldn't be any good here. So let's get this trailer here up as we talk over it. And like I don't know how I really feel about it. It's like watching some of these. You're like, oh, it kind of makes the characters look real. Like, in the quality of the content almost looks real. But then a lot of people are claiming like it completely changes like the art style that the developer wanted to begin with. So it is really curious to see like what everyone thinks and how this will truly play out. And also way like if developers can kind of tweak this in a way like you don't want to completely change the art style of the game, but you want to enhance like the fidelity of the game in a way. Like I agree here in Starfield, like it makes the characters actually look a little bit more like lively as if they have like a soul to them because like regularly like from the original they look very heartless, like very robotic, just dead on the inside. But with these new changes, it makes them look really, really good. Um, and in like sports games, like I think that's going to be crucial because like if you can make the players look even more real, like their real life counterparts, I think that's going to be crucial. It's just like some games like Resident Evil, like an artist of the game made the characters look the way that they do because that's how they wanted them to look. So why would we ultimately change the look to them? So all of this is going to be very, very, very subjective. So only time will tell to see how people really adapt and like or don't like DLSS 5 from the video here. All right, so last topic here in our industry news, and again, some sad news. Ubisoft will be closing the Red Storm Entertainment. This is one of the original studios that historic Tom Clancy studio behind like the games of like Rainbow Six, like the original ones, and some of the Ghost Recon games. The studio was acquired by Ubisoft in 2000 and went on to develop many Ghost Recon and Rainbow Six sequels. But it says, however, the Wild Redstone is best known for its association with Tom Clancy's the best. For the past decade, it's been focused on VR games such as Werewolves Within, Star Trek, Bridge Brigade, or Bridge Crew, and Assassin's Creed Nexus VR. But that just goes to show that like you took another developer, another studio who used to make badass Tom Clancy games and told them to go make VR games, and that wasn't their cup of tea. It wasn't it. Like that was not their strengths. That's not where you needed them to do the make games, but you put them into VR games, which are already a very, very, very niche category. So, of course, you were basically setting them up to fail. So, sad, sad news here out of Ubisoft. They got to do better, man. Some decisions recently have been good. This, however, was not. All right, so that does wrap up the industry news, and I know I am kind of flying on by. It's a lot not easier, but there's not much of the whole back and forth that what I normally do have here with Roger. So I am missing that and was not able to bring anybody else on the show. But if anybody would love to come on the show, make sure you hit me up in any of my DMs, whether that be Xbox, PlayStation, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It does not matter. Hit me up. All right. But however, let's go ahead and check out the gaming news this week. All right, man. So we're kicking it off here with Xbox news, of course. And first up is the Xbox One has finally been hacked after 12 years. I guess this was one of the hardest consoles ever to hack into and whatnot and jailbreak. They said that the process is a whole lot more involved than jailbreaking a PS4. So it definitely took them quite some time, which just goes to show like the quality of like protection that you're going to get from an Xbox as opposed to the PlayStation. But yeah, so if you want to somehow or for some reason want to jailbreak your Xbox One, there is a way to do it now. So on to some other news here. So exciting news: Xbox will now let you like add games manually to your PC. So basically, like taking games from other libraries and you want to add them to your Xbox library, it kind of works out really well. This is all just coming with the merging of like the Xbox on PC, which is coming next month, with Xbox Helix right around the corner as well. So just another quality of life update there. Um but one last thing here in regards to news specifically, Xbox corporate VP who led the third party relations department is departing soon. Um, Lori Wright, which who we're talking about here, is departing, announced on her LinkedIn post on March 19th. No definitive departure date was specified. It was simply noted that you'd be departing in the coming weeks. So just another exec out of the Xbox family leaving. It's very curious, like what's really going on behind closed doors that we don't know about. Like, are they just trying to just give it a complete refresh to help it succeed, or are they doing a complete refresh and saying, "Hey, you might want to get out of here because we're sunsetting the Xbox platform"? There's just a lot to unravel as time goes by because they're going to keep a lot of this information close to them until they're like, all right, guys, Xbox is no more tomorrow, or Xbox is like genuinely here to battle everyone in the games industry. Like, we want to be the best. So we'll continue to follow the roller coaster that it is with Xbox. But nonetheless, I do want to talk about the services. So with Game Pass, we got some more new additions and departures that were announced the other day. And again, it was a nice solid list, honestly. Um, Available on the 17th, you got Gabby's Dollhouse Ready to Party. Coming soon, this came to Game Pass Premium. This was already on Ultimate, but South of Midnight, which I highly, highly, highly recommend going to check out, which is also coming to just recently came to PS5. The Altars is coming to the premium tier of the pass, and another game I highly recommend. Big one here on the 19th. We did get Disco Elysium, the Final Cut edition. This is arguably one of the greatest, like, groundbreaking RPGs. Um, so definitely go check that one out. And if you are a Like a Dragon or a Yakuza fan, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has came, or excuse me, will be coming to Game Pass Ultimate, Premium, and PC Game Pass on March 24th. And on March 25th, we're getting another heavy hitter when it comes to like indie games, and that's Absolem. Be on the lookout for that. This is a combines top of the class beat 'em up action with modern roguelike elements and is beautifully handcrafted setting. Embark on a perilous quest to free the world of Talam from the tyranny of Sun King Azra and experience all the vibes of the fantasy arcade hits of the past. Then on the 26th, this is coming to Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass. Only on the PC here is Nova Roma. So I'll be on the lookout for that. That is a day one to Game Pass. That is, as the once great Roman Empire falls into descent, decadence, and decay, you lead citizens in search of new lands, hoping to build Nova Roma. So that one sounds pretty interesting. Then on the 30th, we're getting The Long Dark on Ultimate Premium and PC. And then on the 31st, we get Resident Evil 7 Biohazard coming to Ultimate Premium and PC. So another really, really solid game there. Then on April 2nd, for all of my Barbie fans, you get Barbie Horse Trails coming to Ultimate Premium and PC. And big exciting news here. If for some reason you not have played the greatest game of all time, and that being Claire Obscure Expedition 33, um, it was already on Ultimate and PC, but it is officially joining the premium tier. Then on April 7th, we're getting Final Fantasy 4. So we're basically like getting a new Final Fantasy game added to Game Pass, like the OGs, once a month. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4 over the last 3 months, and we're going to get the fourth one here on April 7th. But with the additions, we are losing games, and nothing too crazy. We are losing Peppa Pig World Adventures and Mad Streets on March 31st. If you have not played these, make sure you grab them for 20% off via your Game Pass subscription. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and take a look here at some updates to some of Xbox's games. And first up is Starfield. Starfield had like an event the other day where they got to just sit down and talk about all the upcoming content. And we're getting quite a bit. We're getting a new DLC called Terrain Armada. Then we're also getting like just some smaller updates before this DLC launches. The free lanes update, and that's right around the corner. Basically, you're going to be able to travel from world to world without having to go into like a cutscene or a black screen or a loading screen or any of that kind of stuff, which is really awesome. The Terrain Armada is a powerful new threat to the settled systems, aiming to unify everyone within it under a single authority, bolstered by a robotic army and advanced technology. So that all sounds really cool. Um, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to how Starfield plays out, and it's a game that I actually never got to finish and beat. So I may give it a go after I'm done with Crimson Desert. Just depends on what's out and what's on my list to play. Because man, there's always something new and exciting to check out. So it's really hard to hop back into a game that's been out for quite some time and kind of just moved on from. But we'll see. And then next up here, we got an update here for Kiln. That was a game that was recently revealed to us back in January at the Xbox Developer Direct. This is where like that pottery punching party game, um, and whatnot. So you basically get to design your own pot and make abilities and design how they truly look and whatnot. But it did get its official release date launching on April 23rd, so about a month away. And you'll be able to check this one out. And of course, we'll be on Game Pass day one. Big news here is that there will be an open beta running from April 9th through the 11th. So if you just want to hop in, check it out, see if this is going to be something up your alley, something that you want to check out and have fun with, here's your chance. If you're not part of Game Pass, it will cost $20 if you want to buy it. And of course, they do have a deluxe edition for $29.99. And last but not least, here for games, this was a big time announcement. We did just have like a Minecraft event announcing some new updates to the game and whatnot. Not really covering that too much today. I just wanted to cover the biggest new announcement from the showcase, and that was Minecraft Dungeons 2. This is kind of like Diablo, but it's set in the Minecraft universe. The type of game it is. It's pretty cool. I played a little bit of the first one. I was like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. Had my run with it. I played it for a few hours. Just not my cup of tea. But I know a lot of people that really enjoyed it, and I know a lot of people that are really, really excited for this one. And maybe I give it a go. Maybe I check this one out. Maybe I beat the first one to check out the second one. Just never know. And surprisingly, we are getting this in 2026. Like, how is Xbox going to be able to fit all of their games in this year? Like, we still have the Xbox campaign remaster. You got Gears of War E Day. You still got Fable. You got Forza right around the corner. You got Kiln. Now we got Minecraft 2. Like, this is our Dungeons 2. This is going to be one of the greatest and biggest years of Xbox. Like, if Xbox doesn't hit this year, like that's going to be severely bad news. But I doubt it. I think they're going to win here with a bunch of these games. One last thing for Xbox though, man. You obviously they do monthly updates, and for some reason they kind of strayed away from like quality of life updates for the console specifically. They've been doing a lot of like PC related stuff, but we're finally getting stuff here back on the Series X and S, and I'm really looking forward to some of these. One thing is like you're going to be able to add more groups to your homepage. For some reason, they took that feature away a long time ago and limited to you to only have two separate groups, and that always pissed me off because like I have one group for entertainment apps and then I had to create a second group for all of the games that I'm playing. But I usually like to separate my games like multiplayer or games that I'm beating on the story or games that I want to play upcoming or up next, stuff like that. So great to see that finally returning there. But one of the biggest updates, man, and I'm surprised it took them 6 years to come out with, because quick resume is one of the greatest features that the Xbox has to offer. Like just being able to hop right back into the game where you left off without having to boot up the game from scratch is great. But there's some games that it just doesn't work that well with, and that's usually multiplayer games. Um, yeah, the multiplayer games you kind of just like, man, it fucks up because like you have to join a server, but if you're like already in the lobby, you have to like back out to then join like it's whatever. You might as well boot the game up from scratch because sometimes you do. So being able to turn off quick resume on multiplayer games like Call of Duty or Helldivers 2, it's going to be really crucial to my everyday gaming. So I'm really looking forward to that. And just some other things like you'll be able to choose like a custom color for like your system settings and like your system navigation, which is awesome to see there. Just to be able to personalize your look, your own console, which is great and whatnot. But there were other some updates, nothing too significant there. Those are just some of the ones I wanted to highlight. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and check out the competitor here with PlayStation. And they only had one point of interest here when it comes to talking about them, and that was just really just a rumor. It says PlayStation is looking to launch their own launcher on PC, and it could be launching this year. Obviously, you would need a PSN account, which has been like a big issue with them. If you release a game on Steam and people don't want to sign into your PSN account, they only want to use Steam, so it kind of caused a lot of issues and backlash. But it says this keeps all game revenue and boosts the ecosystem, which is a key part there because instead of having to pay a portion to Steam every time someone buys a game, they will no longer have to do so. They'll take 100% of the cut. But by also doing this is like a huge counterpunch to Xbox, especially with Project Helix, because Helix is going to be able to play any PC game. Henceforth, any PlayStation game has come to PC, but not on the Xbox. Xbox gamers would then be able to play it. By them launching this kind of launcher, eliminates them because they can restrict their launcher, won't be able to work on certain like engine or just software, hardware, stuff like that. Just all depends. So that's going to be huge, man. And this could be a way to promote Wolverine. Like if you want to be able to play Wolverine, you got to play on PlayStation or download the PlayStation launcher on PC if you want to play it. So yeah, very very interesting. Continue to follow that and see if that actually comes to fruition. Only time will tell. Like PlayStation, Nintendo also only had one news thing this week, and Nintendo Switch 2 will be getting a replaceable battery version in the EU, obviously following the whole like pro consumer way, like how they made every charging port has to be Type C instead of having multiple chargers. Like you have to be able to replace things yourself, especially like the battery, which we all know can go bad in a lot of devices very easily, but it costs an arm and a leg to replace it. So to eliminate that, you change the Switch 2 version to be able to replace the battery. So be curious to see if they bring that to everywhere in the world, if it's just the EU. But like I said, always we'll continue to follow this as it progresses. So let's move on to I think we got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games that we want to just kind of give quick updates to. First up is The Wolf Among Us, one of the greatest like Telltale games, and this is getting a remastered version coming to the Series X and S, also in the PS5, very soon. This is in the works. We do know that the sequel is also in the works, so kind of like leads it up. Like here's the remaster for those who haven't played it, and boom, here's the sequel right around the corner. So goes hand in hand, and that'll work out great for me because I never played The Wolf Among Us, and now this gives me a chance to do so, getting in preparation for playing the sequel. So looking forward to that. Um, so for a game that me and Roger and a bunch of other guys got to play and beat, and that was Abiotic Factor. They did just release kind of like a roadmap, but they did want to put out some of the quality updates that they are releasing. Pets 2.0. You'll be able to have cosmetic companions, which are pretty cool. And then also an expanded Mangari. The range of Antiverse 2 mutations is increasing by noticeably quotient evolve new forms, each with their own new abilities and behaviors through the powers of epigenetic experimentation, or maybe just a bit of chemistry. This is coming from their blog post. You also will have pets that can fight with you, so you can turn your trusty companion into a fighter and will fight beside you in the moments of danger using unique skill sets. You also get a new wristwatch variant. So this is a horological advance. Continues with the new wristwatch upgrade system. The purpose of these new timepiece variants isn't merely fashion, although several wrist adornments are rather fetching. It's also technology. So that'll be pretty cool. Further in inventions, additions, and enhancements. So a lot of new stuff right around the corner, and just a lot more, man. Like so, they have a really big roadmap that they're piecing together and want to put out to us. So I'm curious to see where it goes and if it draws me back in, even though I beat the game. But I know that they wanted to add to the story, so we'll see how that goes. So this is something I really wanted to highlight because what are the chances of two games coming out within a few days of each other, named the exact same way? So there are two games named Piece by Piece. These were two indie devs who accidentally released different games, titled the same, just days apart. They have teamed up on Steam to launch a double bundle on Steam, offering both games at a discounted price, which is pretty cool to see. But it's like, what in the hell? How did this even happen? Um, but yeah, that was pretty cool. So I just figured I'd give a big shout out to some indie devs on here on the podcast. Moving on though, so FBC Firebreak. This is a game out of the Remedy universe, mainly from the Control specific. This was like that three-player mission-based kind of game. It didn't not do so well, so they are releasing its last major update, and with that, it's called Open House with new arenas inspired by the locations from Control for their endless shift mode. Um, it says Remedy have said not to worry. They've made provisions to ensure that the game stays online and playable for years to come. And they also made the game very cheap, bringing the price down to $20. Um, so if you have not played this, go check it out. I believe this is actually still on Game Pass as well. But also what works out too is that they're launching a friends pass too to try and get more people to play it. So like you buy it, you can add a friend in for free, kind of like how a lot of Hazelight games did in the past. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see the new updates and stuff coming to this game. It was a fun game, but just lacking a ton of content. There was like five missions to do, and that's it. You had to replay them over and over and over, and it kind of just got old after a while. So the game that is dead. Unfortunately, it was Concord 2.0 being High Guard. Interesting enough, there were automatic refunds issued to PlayStation users who actually spent money like in game on the store and the cosmetics and stuff. Back to any PlayStation users that spent the money. So shout out to them for making that happen. But my curious is like, why don't we make that happen for the Xbox and the PC version? Very curious. Very curious. So let's talk about a shooter that is doing phenomenally well. It's still one of the most played games, and that's Counter Strike 2. But they announced a new update very soon. I don't know if this went live yet, but they're completely changing how guns reload in the game. So now players now drop unused ammo. So basically, like Helldivers, like if you shoot a couple bullets, but you still have like six bullets left in the clip and you hit reload, well, you just threw six bullets away. You don't get to keep those six bullets. So that'll be very interesting play because like you could run out of ammo relatively quickly in a round if you're not like keeping an eye on it. So moving on, next shooter here that's been, biggest of all time, Fortnite. They had a couple things going on. So first off, they had a surprise collaboration here with a game that I recently did get to play with a couple of friends, and that being Peak. Who would have thought? This is just a quick trailer that was coming out, but yeah, Peak. The bundle came out on the 21st. Captain America and Iron Man came out a couple days ago. Rival Hope on the 19th as well. Empress Sidekick on the 21st, which was yesterday. Balenciaga Triple, the new kicks that are coming. So just this week on the Fortnite shop. So shout out to Peak, man. Shout out to Peak. Next update here for Fortnite. In Chapter 7, Season 2, players will be able to choose their own rewards from their Game Pass. It says asking players to either join Team Foundation or Team Ice King, and their decisions will affect their final reward. So it was a pretty interesting way take on the whole Game Pass or the Battle Pass kind of thing. I mean, they are the founders and the creators really of the Battle Pass that kind of just works out, and every game has to have one now. Surprisingly enough, Fortnite's been out for 10 years, let's say, if not longer. And a TDM mode is officially in the works, and this will be the official first person TDM game mode coming soon. It has classic rules, 2 teams of 6, and a new map, different classes to select from, and there will be some custom weapons like a sword that blocks attacks. So be on the lookout for TDM coming to Fortnite. So a game that I'm really looking forward to since I was a fan of its first game, and that was Vampire Survivors. They did announce a sequel or whatever's next in the universe called Vampire Crawlers. This is an exciting new spin-off to the beloved indie game, and obviously this will be coming to Game Pass day one. But we did get the official release date announced, and so we're really looking forward to this. And this is coming out right around the corner. This is uh will launch on the Series X and SPF5, availability planned for a later date in 2026. But where did we see a date? April 21st. Sorry. I thought I had this information. It was weird how they put this article together. But yeah, coming out next month, about a month away, and really looking forward to that. I'll tell you what, there is never a shortage of games to play at all. So be on the lookout for Vampire Crawlers. So who would have thought, right? A game that kind of just died, went away, could be revived all this time later. Paramount reportedly plans to relaunch Multiverses, the game that Warner Brothers had. Once this acquisition goes through, and once that happens, when they do relaunch the game, they also reportedly also want to feature characters from the Paramount films. And I'm just like, yes, like if we get somebody who cares and gives quality content, like constant flow of content too, could be really really good for this game. Like this would be the third time this game was has or would have launched, so maybe the game could also be DOA as well. But I'm never gonna look for a game to fail. I want games to succeed, man. Like we need the games industry to keep pushing forward to be the best that it can be. All right, guys. Last but not least, here, Digimon had an event here, and I want to talk about two highlights from it. Digimon Time Stranger, which I recently did just pick it up. It was on sale for like $18, I think, from Amazon, which was crazy. The game's normally $70. I saved like $50. They did announce an expansion DLC is in development and will be releasing in 2027. So a little bit of time, which kind of works out for me because there's so much to play on. That game's going to be long, and it's on my list to get through this year. So really looking forward to that. But before I get to that game, I will be able to play a mobile game called Digimon Up. This is coming this year, and you basically get to take along like one of your like a like a like a pixelated version of your character and whatnot. So you get to power up, feed, and train your partner to make them stronger. Keep digital evolving until you reach Mega Digievolution. Raise and battle Digimon, claim victory, enjoy tons of familiar features, including Digimon cards and Digivices. So, really looking forward to that. I'm gonna get a teaser trailer up here on screen for everyone to take a look at. And I know Digimon's not as big as Pokemon, but Digimon has always been around since the '90s as well, and it's just one of those franchises that I've always like had one foot in, one foot out. Like I used to play a lot of the Digimon World games, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. But after that, I kind of didn't really play much. I used to watch the show a little bit, collected the cards back in the day, but at least we do get a new mobile game right around the corner here. It looks pretty cool. I'm really curious to see how it does genuinely play out. Like if this is going to be like a daily driver, just like Pokemon TCGP is for me right now. Because if this game has like a really nice gameplay loop, I might, make it a game that I really want to play day in and day out. So when that does release, I'll give it a go and be able to get back to you guys and let you know how it goes. But that is all of the gaming news I got this week. It was a pretty solid week. I really wish I had somebody here like Roger or somebody to rap with and kind of go back and forth. I want to get other people's thoughts, but I would love to hear what you guys think about any of these topics that we talked about this week in the comments below, or even reach out to me in a direct message or tweet me and be like, hey, blah, blah, blah. I think about this, and we kind of rap about it. But we do want to thank everyone again who did check us out live today here on Twitch, and anyone who does check us out later on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. But let's go ahead and shout out to where you can check me out at. You can check me out at Twitter at Mr. Never Chillin _. Facebook is Vic Brubacher for any questions, concerns, if you want to come on the show. And if you want a game, hit me up on Xbox at X Never Space Chillin, or PlayStation at VBrew24. And I did recently start streaming again at twitch.tv/ Mr. Never Chillin, where I am playing Crimson Desert. Right now, I don't have a webcam showing, so it's kind of like a non-commentary playthrough. But if you would love to see my face and in my interactions in the game, personally, let me know. Maybe I can turn on the webcam and chit chat with you guys while I'm playing. I'm playing for usually about hour, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours at a time. So yeah, be sure to check me out there. Drop me a follow. Drop us a follow here on all platforms, whether it be Twitch, YouTube, or where you may find us at. And also remember, turn on the notifications so you do know when an episode does go live. But we do want to thank everyone again, and until next time, peace.
Press start podcast.